Why I believe that you need to read the Malazan Book of the Fallen. First of all, the Malazan Book of the Fallen might be one of the most complex series that has ever been written. Over 3.5 million words long in 10 major books. We are not even going to talk about the side novellas or the other stuff. Unlike many other fantasy writers, the author of this series, called Steven Erikson, thinks extremely high. 3.5 million words. 3.5 million words. The writer of the series thinks extremely high of the readers. It is not an easy read. It is complex. It is verbose. It is long. But most importantly, it is satisfying. Unlike other fantasy words that you might have seen in the past, the series is completed. You can 100% read book 1 to 10 without having to wait or be in fear that the writer is gonna die and leave you hanging. It has 3.5. 3.5. You keep forgetting the half. Like, I want you to know that when you are talking in millions, a half is a lot. 3.5. Now, why do you want to put yourself in this endeavor? Why dedicate was going to take. It's so real for you. Why do you want to dedicate years of your life to this series? Well, I have a couple of good reasons. Let's first talk about the universe on the Malazan universe. Unlike most of the Eurocentric fantasy books that you will find online, the Malazan universe is purposely designed to not focus on race. The color of the skin of the characters or the gender has absolutely no effect on what they can achieve, and this is done on purpose. The author went out of his way to create a world without hecking racism. You will find people that look like you and I, no matter how you look, and that is not important. Their gender is treated the exact same way. If you ask me, which book has the most incredible LGBTQT character on the history of Earth, I'm going to say the Iliad because Achilles. I'm gonna say the Iliad, but it's Achilles. But like, if you ask me, and after the Iliad, I will 100% say the Malazan Book of the Fallen. I do not want to spoil absolutely anything for you, so I'm not gonna say this guy, this lady, this person, but like, trust me, it got the goods. What other reason would you have to put yourself in this series? A very complex magic system that I'm pretty sure doesn't make absolutely any sense when I show you this image or whatever. It makes sense if you don't think about it. It is satisfying and it is a lot of fun to try to work it out. What other reason can you have? Look at the races on the Malazan universe. You have undead tiny people with flint swords. You have humans. You have the Vargas, the bug people. But they are not. This is debatable. We're not going down that rabbit hole. This is debatable. This is debatable. You got. I don't know if you notice here, like, that lady have two joints on each arm. That's the Forcuracell, and they make me very, very uncomfortable. Now, when it comes to who are the pale people, the Tistiliosen and Fun fact, what's going on, Scarface? Can somebody hook up Scarface with a shout out? The Tistel, again, not relevant to the first lecture. If we're going to talk races, like, I want to like make something very clear. They are giant dinosaurs with swords for arms in this series. They are giant dinosaurs with swords for arms. I like again, let me hook you up with a shout out. Now, if you are thinking, Fianor, did you just told me that you want me to read a 3.5 million word series? I don't know how I feel about that. Like 3.5 million words. Yes, naturally, they are bred like that. Dinosaurs with swords for arms. Fianor, I don't want to read like this kind of.
3.5 million words is not that long. The Obi-Wan time traveling and raising himself as his own Padawan AU is almost about that long. It's really not that much.
Now, why do you want me to read what has been called one of the most tedious to read series on Earth? It's a very simple reason for it. This book series is not for everybody, but I actually think that you have read enough fantasy to actually enjoy it. You understand the tropes. On book one of the Malazan, like, you know how in the traditional sense of a fantasy universe, you are usually dropped into a very small town, and everything is explained to you exponentially and very slowly, so you can like acclimate yourself step by step. Like, we're not doing this here. We're not doing this here. Like, from book one, you're gonna be dropped into an epic battle, and it's only uphill from there. But if this is not enough for you, this is one of the main characters, 7 feet tall, ebony skin, wily hair, swordman that turns into a dragon. The narration is done into several points of view. It shifts a lot, which allows you to have a really large scope of what's going on. Like, if you look at this picture and you don't go like, yo, I want to see that man's big sword. Like, I don't know what's wrong with you. Like, the sword is 7 feet long. Like, Game of Thrones. Stay with me. I always felt like Game of Thrones uses adult subjects as a shocking manner. Like, they actually done that. Stay with me. If you like Game of Thrones, that's a great series. I hope you have a great time. I do not. I am not a big fan of Game of Thrones. They are very complex adult subjects that I'm not gonna talk about them because again, my channel is PG. But it is at some points it can be upsetting. There is a lot of adult stuff, but I can promise you one thing though: it's not put there for shocking value, and if you stick to it, you will see a payoff. The problem is that the payoff might be 3-4 books after of something very horrible that takes a lot of time to process. Like that's the best I can sell it. I don't want to touch into the super adult elements of the series. The novels have been described by the author as the worst, longest short story. Steven Erikson, when he started writing this series, was a short story writer. I don't know how familiar you are how short stories work, but you got very limited amount of pages. And in a very limited amount of pages, everything that you're gonna put on the book must be important to the plot. This is not something that happens in fantasy universes. Like, a lot of people get verbose for no reason. Steven Erikson took a lot of time, and around 95 to 97% of what you read on each page, it is relevant to the story. The payoff in the long run, in the very, very long run, it is amazing. Also, the book is meant to be reread. It is not designed to be. You can read once. It is designed so you come back to it and you find out a lot of things that you think you read, and it turns out very different. I have read some of the books like 5 times, but the entire series I have read twice. The entire series I have read twice. Do you have any questions about this series? Is there something that you go like, yo, what about this? What about that? You sure that's not rated from Mortal Kombat? No, that's Anomander Rake from the TST&D. And he will whoop your booty and then mine. And we'll like it. And we will like it. This is actually designed for rereads, GDS. And it actually stands... Every single book that I reread, I like way better than the first time I read it. Like, when you come back for the second read, you're like, holy crap, I was dumb. How come I didn't... Like, I mean, one common element on a fantasy novel is that you have to accept things how are put to you. Like, you have to embrace the fictional and fantasy elements of it. And it's just enjoyable. Questions about the Malazan Book of the Fallen series? Panda can do it. Stay with me. If you going to do the audiobook, I strongly recommend against it. The original book is not designed to be performed. It's not designed to be performed. There is a... Who is the hottest? I mean, it's a matter of taste, but like if you ask me, like who is the hottest, who is my favorite character, I think this dude is very hot. He's 8 feet long, 8 feet tall, ripped with muscles, and has a tattoo on his face that it make it look like he's broken because, yeah. I mean, look at that. I don't know how that makes you feel, but like that makes me feel, you know. There is, however, a sexy undead lady. There will be a sexy undead lady. And second sexy is this one of my favorite characters, an alcoholic captain. Because, you know, well, you know me. And I want you to see how happy everybody looks on this picture. And then look at the decapitated heads of... Again, this is Malazan at his finest. Look at these drunk people celebrating on a bar. There's a bunch of chop-off heads on the table over there because, yeah, I don't want to spoil it because, yeah, that just you again, if you wanna do the audiobook, you can do the audiobook, but it is way more enjoyable with words. And not only that, you will have direct access to me. If at any point you go like, yo, bro, I don't understand what this book is talking about, you can call me and I will tell you, yo, me neither. And you will have somebody to commiserate. And you will have somebody to commiserate. Now, this concludes my presentation of why you should read the Malazan Book of the Fallen. Back to our regular Super Mario Maker schedule. If you have questions, I will answer it as I play Super Mario because like there's like 10 people here watching and they did not came here for book recommendation. Trust me, I have tried to recommend them books. Freaking nerds, just wanna see Mario's die.